What's up, guys? Card Collector 2 here. I decided I was gonna make a video for the upcoming national show, the end of July. The official dates are July 26th is the first day, so that's gonna be the folks that have like VIP passes or dealers, stuff like that. It usually runs from like 4 to 9, so it's typically not the whole day, which is like a sneak peek show that they put on. The first day of the show is going to be Thursday the 27th, and then it will run through Sunday the 30th. So it's going to be in Chicago this year. I've been to, this will be my 8th in a row, and I can honestly say that Chicago is the best venue. It's just biggest. I'm not actually don't know if it's the biggest. It feels pretty big when you're in there, and it's close to a lot of things. There's multiple hotels connecting to it, so lots of good things about the show being in Chicago. It's by far my favorite location. Been to Baltimore twice, Cleveland twice, Chicago twice, Atlantic City last year, and then this will be 8 in Chicago, and Chicago is by far my favorite. So just wanted to make a video to reference any questions people might have going forward. I always talk about these in my live videos when I go live on Instagram and talk about the show, and we do razzes and stuff like that, but figured I would just make a video so that we had something to reference later, and I could answer any of the questions that I've been getting so everybody could see it if they wanted to. I was going to make this with Jimmy, a Kentucky basketball fan, or Kentucky basketball cards, but he had some stuff come up. We thought about doing like a side-by-side video. We just talked and answered questions, because I know Jimmy and I have run things by each other in the past. That's actually where we met for the first time, was in Chicago 2 years ago. We had talked and traded online before, but that was actually the first place we met. We've done the VIP party together through Panini the last couple of years, so that's been fun. Made some cool memories at the show, so we were going to do that together and talk about it, but some prior obligations for Jimmy and busy week didn't permit, so figured I would just go ahead and make this, and then we could he could hit on any points that I didn't talk about, and we could possibly do that later. So just to get started here, I got quite a few questions, quite a few points to talk about, so I just want to get right into it. First thing is, people always ask, like, what are some tips and like things that you wouldn't expect, like being a first-time Nationals goer, or not being used to card shows. So there's a couple different things. Just the general stuff you might not think about, especially if you're going to be there for a couple days. Comfortable shoes is an important one. I don't remember sitting down a lot. I wasn't into the break, so I wasn't really sitting down. I was typically walking around, meeting people, talking with dealers, buying, selling, trading, doing all that. When you do that, you're on your feet a lot. And I mean, it's just a convention center. It's not comfortable flooring, so you're walking around. I'll be there every single day. I'll actually be there Tuesday or Monday night, so I'll be there every single day. And when you're walking around, 8-10 hours a day for 5 days in a row, I mean, that's a lot of walking, and it can be uncomfortable. So comfortable shoes is a big one. Another thing is important is snacks. I typically, sometimes I'll leave for lunch if like Jimmy or Colby or Norman or some of the other people want to go get food, and we go to lunch specifically. But if not, I mean, snacks there, I mean, they're inflated prices, so you're going to be paying a lot for, drinks, snacks, things like that. So just having that on you, you don't need to bring, I'm not asking you to bring a food, an entire market worth, but just having something to snack on, or something along those lines, so that you don't have to pay, $8 for a hot dog, $3 for a bag of peanut M&Ms, and $6 for a Coke. So just something to think about. Another thing is, someone asked me, like, how do you carry your cards at the show? I get that question quite a bit. So in the past, I've used all sorts of different things. I've used like a handheld bag. I've used book bags. Last year I used like a roller bag, just 2 wheels, like a suitcase, something you take on like as a carry-on on a plane. It's probably 2 foot tall, a foot wide, foot thick. This is a decent sized suitcase, but it held like 2 2-row boxes, and like a 1-row, something similar to this. And it had some front pockets, so I put cash and other things in that. So that worked. But dragging a suitcase around, especially if you buy a lot, suitcase gets heavy. It was kind of uncomfortable. So I got something a little different this year. I'll take a picture of it and post it on my Instagram page. But it's like it's similar to that, the suitcase thing. It's just it's a little smaller. I actually got something. It expands. It gives you more space if you need it. If not, it stays zipped up, so it looks smaller than it can be. But basically, it holds these pretty well. So those that aren't familiar with these are the BGS boxes you get when you send in a BGS order. You get the cards back in these. I actually bought some from someone on Instagram, and someone had sent me some. So I'll post their names on there. But basically, I got 6 of these, so I'm going to put different things in. Like I'll separate them by sport, and I'll leave a couple empty for when I buy deals. That way I can just throw them in there and sort them as I go, keep track of what I spent, keep track of what's purchased, keep track of what I brought to trade, what I'm not looking to trade, different things like that, so I can sort them. It's just easier to me than taking the 2-row boxes. But if you don't have a lot, a 2-row box might work. The one thing I didn't like about the box is, versus a suitcase especially, or even a book bag, with the 2-row box, when you're carrying it around, I mean, this isn't a 2-row obviously, but if you're carrying it around all day, you get, and you go up to a table, a lot of dealers don't want you to set a box on their showcase, so you set it on the floor, then you got to bend down and put it on the floor, then you got to look through the stuff, and bend down to pick it up and go to the next table right next to you, then put it down on the floor, then pick it back up. So that just became a bit of a hassle, bending over, 1,000 times at a show, just kind of takes its toll. So wanted something a little easier, and I wasn't always getting in my bag or in my box, so it made sense to keep it in a suitcase or a book bag or something like that where it was locked up, and if I needed to get it out, I could, but since I didn't get it out every time, it just made sense to keep it put away. Another thing you might not think about initially is supplies. You're going to be there for quite a few days, especially if you are. It would especially make more sense for you. So I would recommend bringing some supplies. I mean, you don't need a ton of stuff, but a couple packs of top loaders, soft sleeves, things that you might have to overpay for at the show. Some card companies, some of the bigger companies that are doing the Panini promotion might throw them in if you're buying a couple things, but if you're just buying a box, typically they're not going to throw in plastic like that. So just having those supplies so you're not overpaying for them can definitely help you there. Another question I got quite a bit, I've been getting a lot recently, was, do dealers take PayPal or do I have to have cash? So it is the 21st century. There's definitely going to be people that take PayPal. Most of these people probably do eBay. They probably sell quite a bit. I mean, it's like $1,600 to set up, so it's pretty expensive. So a lot of these people, a lot of the dealers probably have PayPal and probably will take PayPal. But to be safe, I would always take cash. Cash is king. So if you're asking me which one I would rather take, I would rather have the cash. I think it's easier, and if there's something you really, really want, the guy or the gal won't take PayPal, but you have cash, you can get it. If they won't take PayPal and that's all you have, well, then you got to find a way to get it. There's lots of ATMs there usually. There was in Atlantic City for sure. I typically don't use the ATM because I typically bring all the cash I need. So I don't remember Chicago specifically, but it's a convention center. I'm sure there's an ATM. Just know you're going to pay the pretty high fees there. So cashier's PayPal, I would take cash, but again, personal preference and kind of up to the dealer. And then trading, like cards or cash at the show. This was a question I got asked a lot. So Jimmy and I are kind of different in this. One thing Jimmy will do is Jimmy typically takes a lot of stuff to trade. Jimmy also has a lot of high-end stuff. So if he sees like an Anthony Davis he'll want, and he's got 50 Kobe autos or 50 Kawhi Leonard autos. I mean, Jimmy doesn't really collect those guys, so it's like a Kawhi Leonard rookie auto for an Anthony Davis rookie auto. Jimmy will take the Anthony Davis rookie auto, so he doesn't have a problem trading with that. For me, I'm a little different. I mean, obviously I don't have the high-end stuff Jimmy has, but typically with me, I've never been one to trade a lot. I used to when I was younger and I didn't really have as much and I could trade up more. But now that I can afford things a little better, I just find it easier just to be able to buy things. So if a card's $100 and I have a $100 card, I'd rather just buy this card and and keep my other card. I'm just more of a collector now than I probably once was. So I'm not as big at trading on the show, but some people are. And do dealers trade? Yes. I mean, some dealers will tell you that, they're paying $1,600 to set up, so they're looking to make money. So not everybody will trade with you evenly. So you have to also go in expecting that. Now, you may trade with other people from Instagram there, and that's different. But trading with dealers are going to, some dealers may expect more than others. So just know that going in, that you may not be able to get fair trades or straight ups, especially if it's like littler stuff. I mean, if you're trading bigger cards, more than likely you're probably going to get pretty fair trades on those. But again, cards are cash. That's a personal preference. I would rather have all cash and little cards to trade, and just be able to buy whatever I wanted. But again, that's all personal preference. Another thing is, kind of starting on the topic of the show being really overwhelming. I'm actually going to post a link to Jimmy's video down below so you guys can see that, because he's done these before, especially after last year was his second one. You really get a feel for what it's like, and one of the things, the overarching theme is it's really overwhelming. You can't really prepare for it. There's so much to see, so much to do. It's awesome. I love it. I wait all year for it. It's fantastic. I love the National. But it's really, really overwhelming, and you get in there, don't know where to start, and if you see something you like, you're like, oh, I'll just come back and get it later. I had a problem with this, especially early on when I was in my first couple shows for the National. So you take a picture, you see something you like, you're like, oh, I'll come back and get it later. I mean, there's thousands of people set up, and if you don't remember where it was, that can be hard to track down. And you got to look through stuff, and just being able to remember where it was. So one of the things I do is, if you're sure of it, you think you may want it, but you're not sure. One of the things I do is I'll take a picture. So there's typically signs above that will say, like, they typically have aisle numbers. They typically go like 100 through like 2,000, and there's like rows and aisles and stuff like that. And one of the things, I mean, you could take pictures of the closest sign, or you just take a picture of the people at the booth. Take a picture of the showcase. I mean, take a picture of something where it's going to be. I mean, you don't want to take a really close picture, but if you get a picture of the general setup of it, and then what I was doing in the past is you can go into your phone and text yourself the picture and the card. So take a picture of the booth and then text yourself that picture and say Tom Brady auto. So then you know that booth was associated with that card that you were possibly thinking about. And if you go back to the hotel later and you look into your text messages and you see that, you'd be like, ooh, did I want this Tom Brady auto? Let me think. Then if you do, you go back tomorrow, see if it's still there, that kind of thing. So just being able to keep track of where your stuff is, because, again, it's really overwhelming, really hard to explain until you see it, but easy to forget where stuff was. Another tip, PSA and Beckett. For anybody that's thinking about doing grading, most people, I don't typically do a lot of grading. I know there's guys that do quite a bit more than me. MC Sports Cards does a lot of grading. DJ Baseball Cards does a lot of grading. There's definitely people that do a lot of grading, and I'm sure if you ask them, they'll tell you the same thing. If you plan on doing grading submissions, especially if you want to get them back at the show, you need to submit them early. I'm not talking early Saturday morning. I'm talking like early Wednesday night, if you can get there, or early Thursday. Those lines will be outrageously long. They'll be huge. And eventually Beckett and PSA will hit a limit where they have so many cards in queue that they won't be able to finish them all before the show ends. So at that point, they'll have to send them back to you. So it usually happens very, very quickly. I remember submitting cards last year like Friday afternoon, and they told me they'd have to mail them to me. So it kind of sucks if you want to get stuff back there and flip it pretty quickly. Like, some people will buy Chrome Prospect autos, take them to the show, grade them, and then flip them at the show. Well, if you can't get them back at the show, then you can't really flip them, and then you're just paying for the grading. So something to keep in mind there, that if you want to do that stuff, do it early, because it will fill up quickly, and then you'll have trouble getting them submitted on time. So being that this is number 8 in a row for me, I've had my fair share of the card companies' promotions. I'm familiar most with Panini. Topps has one too, but Topps is typically baseball. So I remember in years past. I mean, I remember I was in Baltimore a couple years ago, 2009, 2010. It's 2010 because I think it was 2010 Chrome when Steven Strasburg was a rookie, and there was people getting trampled, like little kids getting in line at the Topps booth because Topps had started at the front. And when they would open the doors, everybody would run in to get the Topps booth to get the Strasburg stuff. So I know baseball is really popular. I'm not really a big baseball guy, so it doesn't really apply to me as much. But I know that those lines can get very, very long. Typically, you bust a box, you get like a special national pack on top of it. You have to usually bust the box there or break the seal. You get your pack and you're on your way. Panini is a little different. Panini has a lot of stuff. Again, I'm not as familiar with Topps. I don't know what other stuff they have other than the boxes. But Panini's got some cool stuff. One of the things I've done in the past is box wars. So Panini will set a schedule for each day, and they'll break a certain product at a certain hour. So like 3 o'clock on Friday, Panini will bust Unparalleled Football. Anybody that comes to Panini and busts a box of Unparalleled at the time, they'll have a contest. So like lowest serial numbered card or closest, tallest player. So they just have different promotions where like it's like box wars with everybody there. You don't lose anything. It's just you keep your cards. But if you win, you get like a special promotion card. Like the first national I ever went to, I did one from 2009. Donruss Classics Football. It was lowest number serial card. I had a Chad Johnson patch auto at a 10 from like Monday Night Heroes. It was at a 10, and I won like a Adrian Peterson 101 jersey auto. So they give you like a free card if you win the box war. So that's kind of cool. Extra incentive to bust stuff. You don't typically get the redemption packs for doing it too. So if Panini's giving away like 3 silver packs for 1 box of Unparalleled, you don't get the silver packs and be eligible for the box war. So you'd kind of have to pick and choose. So just keep that in mind. So going off of that, what are the silver packs? So the silver packs are the Panini show added incentive to busting wax. So Panini will usually have a list of products. There's usually basketball, baseball, football, sometimes like soccer or non-sport. Like the country music stuff was popular one year. But basically they'll have a list, and it'll tell you if you bust this product, you get this many silver packs. So product A, you get 5 silver packs, 8 silver packs for this product, 2 for this pack, or for this product. The silver packs are usually a very big hit. Panini's promos definitely drive in a lot of people. In years past, they've been some crappier products, though. They can be good stuff. So you got to really choose what you want. If you want more silver packs, or if you want the best product, which may not have the most silver packs, so it's something you'd really have to decide. But those definitely drive people in. Last year's silver packs were probably some of the best silver packs in a long time. I ended up busting. I did the VIP party with Jimmy, which I'll get to in a minute, and you get 400 silver packs automatically for that. And then someone else did it and bought 2 VIP packages, and I bought 400 of their silver packs, and they were amazing. They hadn't been that good in a while, at least that I remembered. So you get they'll just have a lot of them have base cards, but you'll have rookies. And one of the things about the rookies is they're oftentimes guys that are just now getting big. So like the key basketball rookies. So this year it'll be who? Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz. A lot of those guys. If somebody just changed teams, you'll typically have cards of those people. So like last year, KD's first Warrior cards were in like special packs at the National that Panini gave away if you busted certain products. So that was something that was pretty cool. Patches, a lot of stuff from the rookie premiere for football. Basketball, they sometimes have hockey cards too. Trying to think if there was any other sports. I don't remember a lot of soccer. Sometimes they have NASCAR. Like last year they had NASCAR because they had one of the NASCAR rookies, Chase Elliott, was at the VIP party. So they had his rookie and a couple other guys. But yeah, the promos for Panini are usually really good. They're definitely my favorite every year. And then going off of the promos, the VIP party. So Jimmy and I did the VIP party together twice. Actually, the last 2 years we've done it. Chicago, the first year it was in Soldier Field, in like the club access. We met Tyson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bobby Portis, Ricky Williams. I actually have the pictures on my wall. John Schmaltz, Ryan Sandberg, Jabari. I think there was one more, but I don't remember. So we got to meet all of them, and it's awesome. Last year was in Atlantic City, and it was in a club in the bottom of a casino. Wasn't a big fan of that because it was tighter. It was dark. You couldn't really see anything, or couldn't see as well as you could in Chicago when we were at Soldier Field. But last year was cool. You got to meet Scottie Pippen, Iverson, Lawrence Taylor, Chase Elliott, Sean Kemp, and Reggie Jackson. So I got a picture of Reggie Jackson and Scottie Pippen. I mean, it was awesome. It was really, really cool. Panini's always done a good job of getting big names. The one year I didn't go, it's 2015, it was in Cleveland. It was like Kyrie Irving, Joe Namath. I think was Manziel there? I don't remember. I thought he was. But yeah, I know they get pretty big names. So, but when you do the VIP party, you get a bunch of extra stuff. So the first year we did it, the only option I had at the time was spend $7,500 worth of Panini product from the selected list, and then you get everything for the VIP party. So the VIP party stuff included 400 silver packs automatically. You got roughly 100 to 120 gold packs. So the gold packs are like the silver packs on steroids. They're only available at the VIP party. You don't get those ahead of time. The silver packs you get right away when you sign up. The gold packs you get at the show. So Jimmy and I, there's actually the picture from Panini's website. I post it quite frequently, especially like TBT and stuff like that. But they took a picture, and Jimmy and I made like the front page of their recapping the 2015 National. Jimmy and I were sitting there opening our gold packs. So they do the gold packs. You get those at the show. And the other stuff you get at the show is you get a lanyard. So I was going to talk about this with regular lanyards. But it looks something like this. This is a corporate pass from the actual show. This isn't a VIP party. But it'll look like this. It'll have a card in here, and it'll be like stamped 101. That's what they've done the last couple years. It's like a 101 stamped card. It's kind of cool. Get one of those, and then you get a black box with a guaranteed 101 card. 100 to 120, 25 gold packs. Last year they had supplies, so they had cases of magnetics, like 35 or 55 point magnetics on the table, and you could take whatever you wanted. Same thing with like soft sleeves and top loaders. So I mean, I remember, I think last year Jimmy and I got like 10 or 15 mags each, but there was people that were next to us that were like taking sleeves of magnetics, and got quite a few of those. So that was kind of cool. I mean, free supplies, and then you get the gold packs, the silver packs, the black box, the badge 101, supplies. You get to meet and greet a lot of the celebrities. Take pictures with them if you want. And then you also get 8x10 signed of each person. So I pulled one out. The other ones are on my wall. You can kind of see them up there. Like there's Kareem. But this is what they look like. They're really good quality. Like this is the Scottie Pippen one. They've got the Panini Authentic signature. Hopefully it's not Google Auto Pen. Just kidding. But yeah, they're all signed. They look really good. So it's definitely a cool added bonus. So you get something signed of them. So that way you don't have to ask them for autographs. Because I mean, if I met Scottie Pippen, I'd probably want his autograph. So being able to get the picture on it, that kind of, gets rid of you got to ask for an autograph there. So take the pictures. You get to hang out, talk with a bunch of collectors. It's really, really cool. Like I said, the gold packs are on steroids compared to the silver packs. In years past, they often have a lot of memorabilia. So they'll have like 8x10 pictures like those of, like typically they take like rookie cards, they blow them up and make them 8x10s, and they have them sign them. So like last year or in Chicago a couple years ago, I got a Todd Gurley Prestige rookie that was signed. It was an 8x10 picture. I've gotten Brandon Cooks, Nick Foles, just different things like that. But typically signed rookie cards that are blown up to 8x10. Then they also get like basketballs and other stuff. So on top of my desk, I have a Devin McCourty, Jason McCourty signed mini helmet I won at the VIP party. Tracy McGrady signed hat. I got a Gail Goodrich something like that. A signed basketball when he got in the Hall of Fame. I won that last year. Those are randomly inserted as like redemptions in the gold packs. Hit a 101 superfractor of like luck. Jimmy ended up buying a bunch more later, but I know Jimmy, Kentucky basketball fan, hit like the Kobe Super, a Larry Bird Super. They're really cool looking cards. They're like chrome finish. I think Panini does a good job. They may not always hold their value very long, but they're good looking cards. The VIP ones from the gold packs. So VIP party, that's what it was. So like I said, the first year was like $7,500 in the select product. Last year we paid X amount of dollars, and you got everything but the wax. So you didn't get maybe the junk wax per se, but you got like the silver packs, the gold packs, the black box, everything that comes with the party that's not the Panini product. So specifically the wax. So that was cool. Saved us some money and didn't really want the crappy wax. I'd rather buy good wax and get all the other stuff. So that's kind of what we did. So that's a little bit more about the VIP party, a little bit more about Topps. A couple more things. Jimmy talks about this in his video. I actually went back and watched some of his older videos because they're good. Jimmy makes great videos. And one of the things he talks about is really having a focus. I know Jimmy's done lists in the past. I typically don't make the list. I try to make it as open as possible. Just whatever I pick up is whatever I pick up. I can tell you this year I'm a little more focused. Like there'll be some things I want to pick up, like Jordan 96, 97 Flair Hot Numbers, or that's one of the cards I really want. Another Jim Brown rookie. I've got 2 of them now. Like there's other things I would really want to pick up. But Jimmy's list is really focused. Jimmy does a lot of sets, so he's doing the National Treasures basketball RPA set. I know he needs like Brandon Ingram, a Tyler Euler set of 25, just different things like that. So go there and I'll try to pick those up. I've talked to Norman. Norman actually texted me his list. I think I have it up. But Norman was going after like specific things. Yeah, it's right here actually. So Norman's like Winston 9-5 contenders, or Wentz contenders 9-5, or Chipper Dansby dual, Chipper Jones Dansby Swanson dual auto. So just different things like that. Specific cards you may want, or things of a player. Like I said, I'm not necessarily as big on that. I just like to, go see whatever I see and then pick it up. But if you are focused, Jimmy's video talks a lot about it. Have a focus ahead of time. Because one of the things he points out is if you don't have a focus, it's easy, very, very easy to get persuaded by other things. He talks about this a couple times. But if you go there and you spend a bunch of money, get a couple things you want, but you only have a few things on your list, and you have let's say $500 left, you're like, well, I want to pick up some more PC cards. But you see the Panini promos, you see the Topps promos, you see what they're selling for on eBay, because they're going to sell well initially. So when you see that, it's hard to not be persuaded to buy those things. Just in general, I mean, if you've got the money, there's typically a lot of good deals. There are a lot of enticing things. So having a list ahead of time kind of allows you to stay more focused. Jimmy talks about that a lot. I agree with it. I don't necessarily need anything to pick up. There's a couple cards I want, but they're not very expensive, and I'm not completing sets opposed to what Jimmy is. So it's a little different. So it really depends on your personal preference. But just something to keep in mind. Just having a focus initially. So yeah, that's that. What others? So Jimmy gets asked this a lot. A couple people DM me about it. So will you trade at Nationals? Like I said earlier, I typically don't trade a lot. The Nationals is an exception. For those of you that were at trade night last year at Jimmy's, first night I was kind of slow, but definitely picked up stamina once people got around. This is something Jimmy and I actually talked about. Is last year Instagram was a lot different. I mean, it was similar people, similar things, but I feel like the last year especially, the Instagram card community has gotten a lot bigger. I mean, last year at Nationals, I think I had like 4,500 followers, and this year I'm almost at 10. Jimmy just hit 10. It's a lot different. There's a lot more people that follow each of us. So when Jimmy posted, when I post about Jimmy's trade night, which I'll get here, I've got details, and I'll get that in a minute. When he posts about that, a lot more people see it, and I think a lot more people will be more open to going, because it started out slow last year, but when it got going, room's not very big. It was good size for what we wanted it to, but it got filled very quickly. When we were in there, I mean, we were there for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and it was fun. And like I said, I typically don't trade, but at the National, kind of like Jimmy's policy, I've kind of adopted that. In person, it's a lot different when you can see cards in person. Like, I can see what you have, you can see what I have. Like, you don't have to ask me, hey, do you have any Derek Carr? Well, yeah, I do. Like, what do you want specifically? I mean, I can go through all 65 Derek Carr autos, or, if I want to ask you what you have of this person, and you've got to sort through it all. It's easier if you can see it in person, so I'm much more willing to trade in person when we can just work it out right there. We can talk through it. It's just, it's a lot easier to trade in person, so yes, I will typically trade in person. I've been working on some gifts for some people, so probably be giving some stuff away too. I don't want to go into it too much, but got a nice little pile started for some people. I've made some posts about that, so if you plan on going, comment on those posts. I want to try to meet as many of my followers as I can. Some of the people that I've gotten close with over the last couple of years being on Instagram. There's a lot of great people on there, so I would love to know who's going. Try to make some lunch plans, some dinner plans, some hangouts with some people. I'll probably have some people over in my room, do some trading. Jimmy and I think are both staying at the Hilton. I have to confirm that with him, but I think that's what we're saying. So yeah, trading definitely at the show, in person. I'm much more willing to do that. So trade night for Jimmy, it is booked. We were talking about this the other day. I think he's still finalizing a couple things. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to ask him about that. But it's going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. So that's 27th, 28th, and 29th of July. It will run from 6 to 9 p.m., and it will be in the Armstrong Room. I believe that's the Hilton Hotel. If I'm not mistaken, I can tell you right now. Yep, it's in the Hilton Rosemont, which I believe is connected to the convention center. Armstrong Room, 27th, 28th, 29th, 6 to 9 p.m. So, if you're going to be there, definitely stop by. It's meant to be after the National because Jimmy's not trying to compete or prevent anyone from going to the show. We'll be at the show most of the time anyways. We actually ended up getting there a little late last time because I think it was 5 to 8 last time. So we showed up a little late sometimes when the show ran late. But it'll be 6 to 9, 27, 28, 29, Armstrong Room. So be there. Tell your friends. Jimmy doesn't charge admission. He'll usually have snacks and drinks that he'll provide from the hotel. There's no underlying motive there. It's just Jimmy just wants people to come out, meet him, hang out, and have a good time. And it's for those that have been there, it's a good time. So yeah, I think that's all I've got. I mean, talked about pretty much everything. But if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram. I'll post my information for Instagram and Twitter below. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.